Sanctions mean for ordinary Iranians? Well, let's find out. With me in the studio is author Shiva Rahbaran. She was born in Iran but now lives in Germany. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Was it a big deal for you what happened in Vienna yesterday, this agreement?
Yes, it was, because you know, ordinary Iranians were suffering. It was just, you know, the devaluation of the rial by more than 70% led to a lot of shortages, especially in terms of medication. There were jokes, you know, going around saying, thank God I had my leukemia in 2005 and not in 2013, because it was, if you didn't have the contacts, you know, to embassies or to the UN headquarters, it was just very difficult to get the medication. Also, the government, being short on cash, had to cut on a lot of subsidies. So just buying the daily bread, or as the Iranians say, the bread and cheese, being the national food, especially for the poorer people, a lot of people couldn't afford it. So the nice thing about the sanctions being lifted is that daily life is going to become much easier for many Iranians. But at the same time, of course, a lot of Iranians have a feeling that they are very pro-Western. I mean, you must understand, Iran is, the nation is probably it's the most pro-Western nation in the Middle East. And the greatest destination for the Iranians to go to is America. When they go to say they want to go to America, if they don't make it, they don't get the visa, then they choose Europe, Western Europe. So that is, for a lot of Iranians, very important, that now they can get the visas. They have a feeling, you know, there's a general feeling of hopefulness, there's a general feeling of being, you know, back into the world community, into the...
What do you think happens to perhaps the perception that maybe the media put out there, or the headlines that you read in international newspapers, that Iran is not pro-West? Where do things go wrong,
well,
do you think?
There are definitely, I mean, you know, the hardliners in Iran like to give that impression. But when you live in Iran and when you travel to Iran, you will see that, especially that Iranians, even the rural Iranians, are much more pro-Western than, say, you know, the nations that are supposed to be the greatest allies of the West. You know, if you speak to, say the Saudis, or if you speak to the Pakistanis, they definitely have much more, you know, many more reservations against the West than the Iranians have. The Iranians, what bothers them is that the West is actually against them, because the Iranian nation has this feeling that, you know, we like the American way of life. We are quite pro-Western. You know, when you travel in Iran, you see, you know, malls everywhere. You feel like you are in Tehran, you can be in any megalopolis that is in, you know, Asia. So they are a little bit, sometimes they have a feeling that the West doesn't want to see them as, you know, being not a threat to the West.
Or perhaps how life used to be in Iran, because you grew up at a time in Iran of great transformation during the Islamic Revolution.
Yes, yes, I did. But then Iran has always been, you see, even after the Islamic Revolution, Iran was never in the same situation, say, as the Eastern European countries were in the, you know, during the Cold War. Iran was never a Cuba of the Middle East, or North Korea. There has always been some sort of a to and fro, you know, and a give and take with the West.
You say that though, but yet you say of yourself as an author on your website, in most of my work I have been concentrating on the relationship between freedom and art,
yes,
as a direct result of the experiences that you had as a child during the Islamic Revolution. So the issue of freedom has come up in the sense that you are, perhaps, as the countries you've just mentioned there, restricted in what can be a true expression of how you feel. Well,
it is true that the thing is that there are two issues here. There's an issue of freedom of speech, which is very restricted in Iran, and freedom of the arts. And I have been very much involved with that. But at the same time, there is the ordinary life. There is, you know, the life of the normal sort of life of doing business, doing trade, living. And for a lot of Iranians, the hardship started, I mean, when that part of life, you know, the ordinary life, the business life was restricted. And that's what happened with these sanctions. And that's where, I mean, Iranians are not a naive people. They know that the government also went to the negotiation table because a lot of people in the government are in big business, and their business was being, you know, restricted. So, but when the business is done, the ordinary life goes on.
Okay, well, we're going to have to leave it there,
yes.
but I just want to ask you very quickly, if I can, is this a sign of change, a new chapter?
Yes, definitely. I think so.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Shiva, we're grateful for your time. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Shiva Rahbaran there. Now, a new